Hi guys, in today's video we are going to share with you on how to use a slicer software. So are you ready? Let's go! Hey, wait a minute. So what is this slicer software? Why do I need it for my 3D printing? Okay, well now imagine that you have obtained a STL model file from the internet source, but how are you going to print this file using your 3D printer? The 3D printer is not able to read this file, so here is a slicer software comes into play. A slicer software helps to convert the 3D object file or STL file into a set of instructions named G-code. Inside the G-code, it contains instructions such as the printer movement, temperatures controls, as well as speeds and accelerations of the printing. Using slicer applications, you can tell the printer on how to print your 3D parts according to your preference. So, how do I able to get this software? Okay, there are many types of slicer software across the internet. Some of them are open source and free to use, such as the Slicer, CURA, and the Repeater Host. In the description below this video, I will include the download link for the three softwares that I have mentioned above. Next, we are going to looking at how to set up the slicer software. You have done installed the program, so let's open the software. It might take some time to load the first time. So this is what it looks like inside the software. In this tutorial, I'm using the CURA software, but it is more or less the same for all the other slicer. The first thing to do is go to the setting and set our printer model. So we click on add printer and you can see a list of the printers over here. If you are making your own printer, you can go ahead and choose the custom, and you might have to manually input the parameters of your 3D printer. So there is another list of the 3D printers that is available. So if you're not able to find your exact model for inside this list, you can proceed to select those printer that has the exact or similar dimension as yours. So I will choose the Creality Ender 3 as I'm using a Creality Ender 3 Pro printer. Finally, give it a name and click on Add Printer. You can look at your printer setting by going to the setting, select on the printer and manage printer. Choose your printer and click on the machine setting. Here you can see all the machine setting that is set inside this software. The X, Y, and Z holds the parameters for the volume of your printer capability. This is a very important setting to the slicer, so that it can stop you from slicing object files that is bigger than your printer's printing volume. The build plate is rectangular one for this printer. Some printers like Delta printer will have different shape of the build plate. And most of the printers come with heated bed, so make sure the option is being enabled. If you have chosen your exact printer model, you can just leave these settings to default. The next setting is the extruder setting, where you can set the nozzle size and the compatible material diameter. So it is also being set as a default, so we don't care to change it for now. Next, we will be setting for the materials that we are going to print. Go to the setting, extruder 1, material, and choose your preferred materials. In this case, I will be choosing PLA. Be noted that each type of materials have different kind of properties, such as different printing temperatures. The best materials that I would suggest for beginners is PLA, as it is less tricky to print. In CURA, it has preset the properties needed for some materials. However, you can still go to manage material to change their properties according to your preference. Now you have done all the setup. Let's try on how to slice a 3D file. First, you will need to open the STL files that you have downloaded. Hey look! The model file is inverted. However, don't worry. we can use the rotate function to rotate the model back to its original position. Click on the lay flat to make sure that the model stays flat on the heat bed. Right-click and drag along to see your model in different angle. You can see the size of your current model at the bottom right. So if it is not the size that you want, you can choose to scale up or down your model file by dragging along the axis. By clicking on the Move button, you can move the 3D model across the heat bed. From the right side of the panel, you will see a lot of options. There are some simple controls on how you wanted the 3D printer to print your model. As you gain more and more experiences, you will find out more controlling parameters for the printing. However, we will discuss some of the most important settings here. The first parameter is the layer height. As you know, your printer will print your model layer by layer from bottom to the top. Thus, this setting will adjust the height of each layers of printing. The higher the layer height, the faster the overall printing time. However, this will cause your printing parts to be less quality in details. Normally, we will print a 0.2 layer height, which has the optimum quality and less printing time. The second parameter is the infill percentage. The infill percentage will determine how solid is your printing part. The higher the infill percentage, the stronger the print, but also take higher time and more materials. An optimum value of this parameter can be around 20% to 30%. Next important setting is the generation of supports. This support generation is optional. If your printing part contains hanging parts over 45 degrees, you will have to enable these support generations, or else you will not be able to print it well. The last setting that I will talk about is the build plate adhesion. This setting is also optional. If this setting is enabled, the 3D printer will print extra materials around the first layer of your print. This function is to increase the adhesion of your printing parts to the heat bed. In your future printing, feel free to try out and discover the other setting parameters and observe its effect towards your printing. You will become an expert in no time. Now, after all the adjustment has been done, let's click on Prepare to slice the 3D object. This process will take a while for it to produce the G-code. Besides, CURA will also calculate the printing time, material cost, as well as the material weight for you. Great! Now, the process has been done. As you can see, it is estimated to print for 1 hour and 22 minutes, and it will use up 3.35 meter, equivalent to 10 grams of materials, and its cost of materials is 70 cents. You can also see how your printing looks like by clicking on the layer view. Let's zoom in a little and see. The extra material under the model hands is called the supports. Without the supports, the hand will not be able to print out perfectly. The extra materials around the base is the build plate adhesion parts. It helps to make your print to stick better on the heat bed. Finally, these extra materials needed to be removed when the printing is done. Now let's click Save to Files to save the G-codes. Now go to the location of your save file. The G-code is now being prepared. Copy the files to your SD card and send it to your printer for the printing. So this is the end of the video on how to use software slicer for 3D printing. I hope that you had learned something from this video. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe and share it to your friends. Your support is my best motivations on creating more helping videos in 3D printing. Thanks for watching and happy printing!